I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market side. Analysts chime in on when to buy small cap stocks for the biggest bounce.
I'm Patricia Wu at the Salomon Biotech Conference in New York City. Hear what experts in the space have to say about the investment climate and opportunities in the growing life science industry.
I'm Remy Blair in San Francisco. Double-digit moves are swaying biotech names on Monday. Bluebird shares may have had their wings clipped. Can the biotech take flight again? And other biotech names are also topping the most active list.
Welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. Get ready, small cap investors. The best time of the year to make money is about to begin. And in fact, if you were to miss out on the next several weeks, you might as well give up altogether on the small cap sector until December of 2016. Now that's because all of this sector's much vaunted historical relative strength has come at the end of December and into early January. From February through mid-December, the average small cap stock actually lags behind the average large cap stock. Well, activist investor Carl Icahn disclosed a 12% stake in PepBoys, Manny, Mo, and Jack, and called for a sale of the auto parts retailer to Auto Plus, a company owned by his Icahn Enterprises. Icahn said he will continue to discuss a strategic combination between PepBoys and Auto Plus, but could propose alternative deals as well. Shares of PepBoys soared on Icahn's announcement. Threshold Pharmaceuticals stock plunged in active trade toward a more than 5-year low after 2 late-stage trials of its investigational cancer treatment failed to meet their primary endpoints. The stock slid 71% in pre-market trade, putting it on track to trade below the $1 mark during regular trading for the first time since July of 2010. Now, the company said that one phase 3 study of the drug in patients with previously untreated metastatic pancreatic cancer did not demonstrate a statistically significant improvement in overall survival when compared with a placebo. Well, Keurig Green Mountain agreed to be bought by an investor group led by JAB Holdings for almost $14 billion, a sizable premium for the maker of coffee pods and machines that has seen its sales and stock price slump over the past year amid product woes and increased competition. Now, the deal values Keurig at $92 a share. That is a 78% premium to the company's closing price on Friday. Coca-Cola owns 17% of Keurig and is supportive of this deal. Smith & Wesson shares up today on speculation about gun sales. Some people buy guns ahead of expected gun control legislation. Others are buying for protection, as terror groups have shown they are willing to attack Americans on their home soil. And the activist investor behind many of the changes at Bob Evans is again pushing the company to sell its sausage and side dishes business. Sendell Asset Management, it's been pushing for and getting changes at Bob Evans Farms for more than 2 years, now wants a sale of the company's food products business. In a letter sent to the company's board, the investor group said that Post Holdings is interested in acquiring the sausage and sides business and asked the company retain a financial advisor to explore a deal. Well, lots of small cap companies making news today, so here's a rundown. Marvell Technology shares plunging on worse than expected third quarter results. Bluebird says its sickle cell patient has avoided a transfusion and been free of that for 9 months. GW Pharma got FDA orphan status for its glioma treatment. Lionsgate's Hunger Games finale keeps the top spot at the box office. GoPro shares hit a new low on continued worries about its business. SL Green is said to be close to purchasing New York REIT. Vail Resorts said its loss narrowed in the latest quarter as the ski resort operator reported better than expected revenue growth on stronger season pass sales for the coming winter season and also a higher percentage of destination guests. The Colorado-based company said that as of December 5th, sales of season passes for the coming ski season were up 13%. And shares of Bizarre Voice took a zigzag course after the company said it narrowed its second quarter loss and did beat analysts' earnings estimates. Now, after the markets closed last week, the Austin-based software maker reported a loss of $4.8 million or 6 cents a share and had revenue of just shy of $50 million compared with a loss of $9 million or 13 cents a share and revenue of $47 million during the same period a year ago. That's all according to SEC filings. Turning to biotech, it's an exciting time for Asterias Biotherapeutics, which specializes in regenerative medicine. Their CEO tells our Patricia Wu about new products in their pipeline.
Well, first of all, as you know, it is wonderful to be focused on an area where there are no therapies available and when you can really transform the life of patients. We are in the middle of our phase 1/2A trial. We've entered the 2A portion of that trial and are enrolling now patients at the efficacy dose range. We will know whether this dose works in patients by the third quarter of next year. So this is very exciting for us and a breakthrough for this therapy.
What kind of results have you seen so far?
Well, we recently announced, and this is just the first patient, but in the first patient, we had a progress from what we call an ASIA-A, which is a patient that is completely paralyzed, has no sensation and no mobility from the site of injury down, to an ASIA-B in 2 months. And ASIA-B means the patient started to have sensations in the toes and in other parts of the body. And then at 3 months, it progressed to ASIA-C. And ASIA-C means that you start to have mobility. So the patient can now contract its anus and avoid bowel or control bowel movements. Again, it's only one patient. Spontaneously, some of these patients, the surgeon that is treating this patient said that spontaneously he has observed this in not more than 5% of patients, but it's being observed with our therapy. It's the first patient. And first sign at a low dose that it works. Now, obviously, we have great expectations at the full dose that it will work in patients.
And what does that timeline look like?
Well, as I said, the third quarter of next year, we'll have the first reading. Our trial measures at 6 months and at 12 months. So 12 months later, we'll have the second reading together with the first reading of an even higher dose. It allows me also to talk a little bit. This is one of the therapies that has been most studied in animals. We are the first embryonic cell therapy to enter humans, to be applied to humans. And as a result of that, the FDA required us to run through 28 studies and 3,000 rats. And what we saw in those animal studies is, number one, this is safe. And number two, we can see a very, very clear dose response in mobility. The rats actually walk again and move. So we hope to replicate this in humans.
That's pretty amazing. Where are your competitors in this?
We really don't have in the specific segment that we're in any competitors that are within 3 to 4 years from us. We are way ahead. As I said at the beginning, the areas that we choose, we want to lead in science and also, make sure that nobody can jump over us.
So let's move on then to the second one that we discussed. Another product that you have in development has to do with amyloid leukemia. Where is that at?
Well, first, this is a dendritic cell, that's how it's called, telomerase-loaded vaccine. It is in the immuno-oncology field, which is very excited, as you know. And this therapy, in addition to what it can do on its own, it is ideal for combination with checkpoint inhibitors and others. And where we are in this trial, we recently announced the long-term follow-up of the phase 2 results of, we call it VAC1, at ASCO at the end of May, early June. And what we saw in those studies is that the patients, 58% of the patients are relapse-free after 52 months. This is in contrast with historical controls that are relapse-free at the same period, only 10 to 20%. So we have a 4-fold improvement and a dramatic change in the lifespan of these patients. We think it's very exciting. It's the first time that there is a therapy that has the potential of truly working in this population in 30 years. So we are going to be starting the phase 3 trial and hopefully change the lives of patients.
And when does this phase 3 trial begin?
Well, we're targeting the first quarter of 17. In the first quarter of next year, we have a major milestone. We have a scheduled meeting with the FDA to obtain guidance on how to proceed on the phase 3 trial, where we will determine together with them, number one, is this an accelerated development? Is this a full registration trial? Or is this a traditional development? And the difference in those three is years of additional development and investment. So for us, that is a critical time that will determine the viability and partnerability of this asset.
And if all goes according to plan, how would you characterize this therapy. Is this a game changer?
This is a game changer in AML for these patients that are 60 years and older. Even if there are other products that come in, nothing has extended the relapse-free period the way this product does. There are other products that are being tested to increase the number of patients that get to what's called induction, which means non-detectable cancer. But in most cases, they come back with the disease within 5 to 10 months. So we do believe this is a breakthrough for these types of patients.
And do you have competitors in this space?
There are virtually a few hundred therapies being tested in AML. None of them have the mechanism of action and the tolerability. And I emphasize that because these patients are very old, they're very fragile, and so far they have not been able to tolerate existing or therapies in development. So even if there are therapies in development, they need to be tolerated by patients. And ours is highly efficacious and very well tolerated.
For more on the Salomon Biotech Conference, go to smallcapnation.com.
We'll take you to San Francisco next when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy. It's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So hat-trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up their number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight, fight. Come on, fight.
Can't stop me now.
Come on, Serena.
Can't stop me now. You don't want me. Can't mess with these.
Back to the top. Here we go.
You don't
2,
want me.
3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa, stop. Let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, we're gonna stop there. I bet we can do it even better.
It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
Bluebird is taking a nosedive. Today, the latest study results are dragging the stock lower, and analysts are downgrading the stock. How decisive were the gene therapy results?
Hi, Jane. Shares of the biotech are definitely taking a hit. Bluebird is off by as much as 35% today. Over the weekend, the company reported results on its gene therapy for treating sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. Now, trial patients receive Bluebird's treatment called lentiglobin BB305. Some of those patients have been able to live without the need for blood transfusions for almost 2 years, but an increasing number of patients have not. Now, the company says its treatment is still proving effective in helping patients produce hemoglobin, but the treatment has yet to result in a cure for the majority of patients. Bluebird has been working on a gene therapy for a rare blood disease since spring of this year. Numerous complications have been reported with the treatment. It has shifted its clinical strategy as the treatment works differently with every patient. A single conclusive result can't be achieved, so in the future it plans to split up the study population.
Is there a silver lining to the latest results from Bluebird?
Well, believe it or not, there are some upbeat results for the treatment study. The Cambridge, Massachusetts-based company on the cutting edge of gene therapy for rare blood disorders may have a long way to go. But Bluebird CEO Nick Lushley says he believes the patients will continue to improve with longer follow-up, so he doesn't see any reason to panic. Still, in its latest study, Bluebird says that out of 9 patients, 5 with semi-functional beta-globin genes remain transfusion-free for 7.1 to 16.4 months. But the remaining 4 with a genetic variant still require new blood, but the transfusion volume was reduced. Bluebird plans to carry out 2 more studies on BB305, and it will only target patients with a less severe form of BT.
What's the near-term outlook for Bluebird, and what are analysts saying about it?
Well, prices of the company are deep in the red today. If we take a step back and look at the year-to-date chart, Bluebird stock traded up above $190 per share when the company first introduced BB305 as a cure to BT. However, the stock has not maintained its upward momentum. Earlier this year, Bluebird was worth over $6 billion. It has seen its market share cut by more than half since this summer, as recent data failed to live up to high expectations. Now, despite today's sell-off, shares are off its 52-week low. In its latest earnings report, the company posted an earnings as well as revenue miss for the third quarter. And as the new week gets underway, several names have cut their rating on the company. Morgan Stanley, Roth Capital, Janney Montgomery Scott, and Bank of America lowered their rating on the stock.
Straight ahead, we head across the pond for a look at what's happening in the European markets when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Good. Very good. You see something moving off the shelves and your first thought is to investigate the company. You are type E. Yes, investment opportunities can be anywhere. Or not. But you know the difference.
E-Trade's barcode scanner. Shorten the distance between intuition and action. E-Trade. Opportunity is...
Before they sat down, one more time, just for themselves. Before the last grandchild graced the stage. Before Katie and her husband hit that rough patch. Before Kevin finally came home and the first grandchild arrived. Before the sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, and Brad's brief brush with the law. Before the second British invasion. Before Katie, Debbie, Kevin, and Brad. Before they became a family. There was a connection that started it all and made the future the wonderful thing it turned out to be. We know we're not the center of your life, but we'll do our best to help you connect to what is.
Sometimes the present looked bright, sometimes romantic. There were tears in my eyes, and tears in my eyes. And so many little things that we learned were really the biggest things. Through it all, we saved and had a retirement plan, and someone who listened and helped us along the way. Because we always knew that someday the future would be the present.
Every someday needs a plan. Talk with us about your retirement today.
Graham, have the European markets settled down today?
Well, Mario Draghi sounded quite conciliatory in New York on Friday evening, but it was too late, of course, to save the European markets. They did ease their fall a little towards the end of the afternoon trading on Friday, but they were significantly off week on week. Amsterdam and Frankfurt, 4%, Paris over 3%, Milan just under, Madrid and London just over 1%. Although part of London's reaction was big oil and the reaction to the OPEC meeting and lack of any sort of clear decision coming out of that. And that will probably tag in, well, it has in fact tagged into this week as all the OPEC people went home and left everybody else wondering. Today the markets have been moving into the green steadily, except for Madrid, which appears mainly to be the banks being sold off again, and London, which is a mixture of oil and commodities going off, and particularly GBG, which is such a significant part of the index. When that moves, the index moves. And also supermarkets, not clear why the supermarkets with Christmas coming. Meanwhile, the euro held up, was up over 2.5% week on week, but it's dropped back a little today, but is still holding above the 080 level at this time. Interestingly, Reuters published an article about the ECB's decision over the weekend, which reflected a lot of the comments that we had made on Friday. So remember, folks, you heard it here first. There's a lot of data later this week, and of course we have the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee meeting on Thursday. We also have the governor speaking in Europe today, but we don't expect any major market performances like we saw last Thursday, Friday. I think expectations are pretty well managed and low. German industrial production came out this morning, flat year on year, slightly up over in October over September, but not too significant. And of course, on the political front, the big news is that the anti-EU and immigrant party Front National came out ahead of all the other parties on the regional elections. It's emphasised these are regional government elections, and it is also just the first round. So the real significant time is next Sunday with the second round, and we'll know just how well the Front National has done or not.
Oh, Graham, what are you looking at today?
Well, I thought as the climate change conference was still going on, we'd stick with that theme and have a look at some of the small caps, just a few of them involved in clean and green power.
Okay, what have you found for us?
Well, I found a range of companies, and the first one is in England, a small family firm that has continued to operate despite the government's removal of subsidies from solar.
The loss of subsidies hurt a lot of small firms, didn't it?
Yes, quite a number of firms went out of business, either bankrupt or just closed down, but this one managed to be efficient and client-oriented enough to stay in business. Now, of course, with less competition. So this family-run company operates in the domestic installation sector, and that's a pretty tough sector, but has built up a strategic network of partners designed to leverage their energy, solutions and technology so as to be able to deliver and enhance their services to their customers. Their partnerships with best-in-class vendors differentiates the company from the rest of the pack by keeping a close eye on quality. Solar panels vary in quality and performance quite significantly, and the cheapest panels aren't necessarily the best value. They have partnered up with Sharp, who are one of the major providers, to provide performance, quality and value for money, and at the same time ensuring customer satisfaction. Although some wind and solar farms have been developed in the UK, renewables are still, I'm afraid, somewhat of a cottage industry, and changes in the government subsidies, in fact removal of many of them, is certainly not helping the industry at a time when, in theory, they should be doing more.
What is next?
We have two French Euronext quoted companies. In France, they passed an energy transition law, initially published in 2014, which supports favourable evolution of regulations regarding solar power. And France already had fairly positive regulations towards wind power and quite a large number of wind power installations. And the next company, Global Eco Power, is active in both solar and wind power generation. Since 2009, the company has demonstrated its expertise and capabilities in wind and solar power and is recognised today as a turnkey constructor by both banks and investors in Europe. Their role is to review projects to optimise electricity production and to build turnkey power plants in France for their own account and for count of investors as well. Once the plants are connected, Global EcoPower will operate them for between 15 and 20 years if required. The company's skills range from the study of projects all the way to connecting plants to the public grid and running them thereafter if required, with all of the technology and construction, which is significant obviously with some of this stuff, undercover. The strategy is to build power plants and keep them for its own account, or sell them to third-party investors depending on the group's equity. The company came to the Euronext in June 2013, which at that time gave the company a capitalization of about 19.3 million euros. The second company has a broader reach. Founded in 2004, Voltalia is a producer of electricity from renewable energy sources, specialist of small and medium production units. Voltalia develops, owns and operates power plants, and with a multi-energy strategy by selecting the best sites suitable for renewable energy technologies, wind, solar, but also hydro and biomass. The group has also developed a carbon trading activity. Voltalia manages all aspects of the projects, whether it's the initial study right through construction, operation and maintenance of plants. At the end of 2013 it operated 13 plants with about 52 megawatts of power output. 42% of those were wind powered, 32% solar powered, and the remainder were biomass and hydraulic energy. Their sales are primarily in France, some 40%, and French Guiana at the moment at 43%, with a small amount in Greece and Brazil. And they gain their operations from thermal. At the moment the majority is solar, wind parks, and operation of hydroelectric plants and engineering services, etc. Voyolota came to the exchange in July 2014 when it raised 100 million euros and gave the company a market capitalization of about 210 million. There is also a lot of renewable activity in Germany, where the government turned away from nuclear power after the Fukushima tsunami disaster. More of that on another day. So that's all for today from Small Cap Nation Europe. This is Graham Brown signing off.
We'll take you to San Francisco next when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Everyone works hard for a reason. Working together, we can help you prepare financially for when 2 becomes 3. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far.
You want to be the best investor you can be. You want to cut through the noise of an overwhelming amount of analysis. You want the insights that will help you decide which ideas to execute and which to leave behind. You want your trades executed in 1 second or less, guaranteed and routed with institutional quality technology. Look no further. Open an account and find more of the expertise you need to be a better investor.
When I got the phone call that we had received the grant, I held my breath. To have a program like this is a big reward.
Being a Chase Mission Main Street grant recipient is a game changer.
One of the biggest surprises in starting a small business is the number of hours we should work for the first 20 years.
One of the great things about this grant is that it is going to let us invest in some additional inventories.
It's going to allow this business to go to the next level.
Being a recipient of this grant, we can't be thankful enough.
It's a dream come true, and I'm still in awe.
We're seeing double-digit percentage gains and losses for several pharma names. What's behind the steep losses for Threshold Pharmaceuticals?
Threshold Pharma plunged after its drug trial results disappointed. Germany's Merck and its development partner Threshold Pharma said their experimental cancer drug failed to extend lives in 2 late-stage clinical studies. Threshold Pharma shares fell below its 5-year low on Monday. Now, 2 late-stage trials of its investigational cancer treatment failed to meet their primary endpoints. In a phase 3 study of ivofosfamide, patients with previously untreated metastatic pancreatic cancer did not demonstrate a statistically significant improvement in overall survival. This is when compared with a placebo. And in another phase 3 trial, the drug did not show a statistically significant improvement in overall survival when compared with a medication used in chemotherapy known as doxorubicin. Now, the stock of the company tumbled over 80% on Monday, and it traded below the $1 mark for the first time since July 2010. Prior to today's sell-off, the Threshold stock gained 5% year-to-date.
Agios Pharmaceutical shares down on Monday. What's behind that sharp decline?
Agios is getting hit by an analyst downgrade, and shares are well off over 10%. The company was downgraded to market perform from outperform at Leerink Partners, and its price target was slashed to $62 from $105. Leerink Partners analyst Seamus Fernandez stated that the company's drug test results on IDH1 inhibition in glioma missed expectations. Now, Agios recently released new data from the ongoing study evaluating single-agent AG221, an oral and potent inhibitor of mutant isocitrate dihydrogenase in advanced hematologic malignancies. AG221 is being developed in collaboration with Celgene. Now, the latest results show that the drug's chances of success in the future were greatly reduced. The IDH inhibitor is used for brain cancers, and this has been a key driver for the company's stock price.
And last but not least, Bellicum Pharmaceuticals got a boost following interim BPX-501 clinical data.
Bellicum announced the presentation of interim data from the lead site in an ongoing BP004 phase 1 and 2 clinical trial. Pediatric patients with a variety of genetic diseases achieved disease-free outcomes following a stem cell transplant. To be specific, it was a haploidentical T-cell depleted hematopoietic stem cell transplant, or HSCT, followed by an add-back of BPX-501 donor T-cells. Now, the study is designed to evaluate whether this regimen is safe and improves immune reconstitution, as well as infection control and overall outcomes. Bellicum is developing the additive T-cell therapy BPX-501. Now, on average, the immune system in patients treated with BPX-501 recover 40 days faster. They're also discharged from the hospital 21 days sooner than patients in the historical control. Now, none of the BPX-501 patients died from transplant-related causes to date, compared with 3 deaths from transplants in the historical control.
Listen up, investors. What to buy, sell, or hold. Our daily segment on what the experts are recommending when Small Cap Nation returns.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy. It's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So Hat-Trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up your number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight. Come on, fight. Stay low. Come
Back to the top. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa, stop. Let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, we're gonna stop there. I bet we can do it even better.
It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
Lots of activity in today's buy, sell, hold action. Big lots cut to neutral at Piper Jaffray. Bluebird was cut to equal weight at Morgan Stanley. KBR cut to a sell at Goldman Sachs. Sunoco products cut to underweight at Barclays. And Sovereign Self-Storage cut to sector weight at KeyBank. Also, Vail Resorts cut at Zacks. Thanks for joining us for Small Cap Nation, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, check back for the latest news and research on smallcapnation.com, Facebook, and Twitter.